Hello, everyone. How are you all doing today? Welcome back to the Canada Immigration Channel. Today, I am trying to go live for the first time. I haven't used this feature before, so there are a couple of very exciting news that has been in the news in the last few days pertaining to Express Entry. So today, we will be going through all those and see what's your reaction. So, the very first thing that has recently come up is that express entry draws are to be resuming on July 6th. So, Minister Sean Fraser, in a recent announcement, have mentioned that all the draws which have been paused since December 20, particularly the federal skill worker class draw, we have seen that that has been in pause till 2020 due to the wake of pandemic. Then the Canadian experience class, it's particularly for those applicants who have Canadian work and education. That particular category has also been paused. So those two draws are likely to resume, not likely, very likely to resume on the first week of July 6th. So what does it mean for outsiders? So it means that there are various new changes that are going to be coming to the system. The first change that was already discussed last year was about the introduction of the new tier system. TEER. I have made a separate content around this. So tier is basically the upgradation of NOC system, the existing NOC system. So T stands for training, E for experience, E for education, and R for responsibility. So as and when we go and we see more and more draws and selections which are going to be taking place in the coming months, it will be based around these criterias. Now, another area where the government or IRCC is looking at focusing would be more and more, how should I say, concentration in aspects of occupation, in aspects of a specific professional background, in aspects of specific skills. So, as of now, we have mostly seen that the draws which take place are from the pool. It is depending on a certain number, a cutoff score, which we also known as the CRS score. Based on those, based on the lowest cutoff or where that particular week's decision is kind of staying, the draws are done according to that. According to the new changes that we are expecting to be applied, and these the focus of the draws are going to be more around the particular skills. For example, as I mentioned, education, which field you are employed in. For example, a lot of focus has been around the industry and skill set of technology, a tech sector. Another industry where a lot of focus has been is around the health sector. New and more in like fields and industries of education and study are also coming in. They would be more around the environment and sustainable energy, those things. So in short, in a nutshell, it has to be aligned with what the government of Canada is planning, what are the future priorities, how the economy is shaping, and the areas where skill sets and more new participants, whether inside Canada or outside Canada, is required. So these are the various how should I say, changes that we could expect would be coming. Now, that was more about like for aspiring applicants who are thinking of applying or putting their application under this category. So one thing you should also consider that the cutoff score, the threshold of cutoff score is likely to increase. Now, what does that mean? and this is all speculation based on the different, you know, like announcements that have been made. So what does this mean is that in a perfect scenario, a person who is less than 30 years of age, has a master's or like PhD degree in qualification, has more than 3 years of foreign experience, but do not have any kind of connection in terms of sibling or relative, or for that matter, work experience and education in Canada. Absolutely unrelated. For a person, for a candidate like this, the highest where the score could stretch up to would be, say, for example, 470, 480, 481, 482 max. It cannot go beyond that. But if we see that the cutoff score which are being set, they are around, say, for example, 500, then what does that imply? Does that imply there has to be some sort of established connection with Canada? And by connection, I mean it could be in form of having a relative or previous education, previous work experience, what it could be. So we are not sure. That is something that needs to be, we should be looking out at what, you know, point they are kind of stopping, or what are the you know, usual trends of the cutoff score they're coming up with, because they fluctuate. If we see from our previous experiences, when the biweekly draws used to happen, there used to be, I wouldn't say there's a big gap, but there of course was fluctuation. It could go up to 460, 465, 470, anything around that line would be safe. So that's something to watch out for. For people who are inside and they're waiting for the express entry draws to resume, it this would be, and I would say, an alternate to your, you know, your current other options which you have been evaluating. So for example, if you have been evaluating a lot about like going the provincial nomination route, there has been lot of, you know, discussions around the points and everything, because each provinces have their own requirements, have their own criterias to qualify. Now, a few days back, as an alternative to the bridging open work permit, there was a new announcement particularly made for people who have been waiting for some time, and they are expecting when the draws are going to be resuming, and that has not happened. So in this case, the bridging open work permit, uh, the alternate to a bridging open work permit was found, and that was extension for open work permit holder. Like there was a few days back, there was an announcement via a policy where that extension was made. So I think students who are waiting, or international graduates who are currently employed somewhere and looking at the resumption of the express entry pathway, that came as a real saver. So I would say that was a cushion provided by the government, because they are aware that this has been on hold for a long time, and very many people, their future and their present status are under question. People are worried. So these are the things I think that you should be looking at, and we could think about it. Okay, so there are few other like proposed changes which they have also come up with. Now I will be touching upon one by one. So the other new announcement which has come, so one of my clients just, she hysterically called me, and she asked that is the TR to PR pathway coming back? I'm like, where did you hear that? And she was like, I just heard. So around that, so the minister did not say very much clearly like what it is going to be from last year's experience. Last summer, like around May or June, the TR to PR pathway came into the system. It was like very quick, very how should I say, it did not come with much notice, and it was a chaos. It was an ultimate chaos. Even up until date, there are a lot of people who are still waiting to get their acknowledgements. Now, the TR to PR pathway was for those people who were living, international students and workers who at that point of time were living and working in Canada and were greatly impacted with the impact of pandemic. And they were frontline workers, and there were students who there was no means to go back, and the focus of the government was to retain majority of those skills so that the country could function in an ongoing matter without any kind of hindrance. So that was one of the primary reason why the federal skilled worker draws were put on hold, and more focus was given on the in Canada applicants, be it the Canadian experience class as well as the newly introduced pathway, the TR to PR program, so which was there for a very short time. But that program, for sure, it was an emergency it was an, how should I say, emergency tool which the government got into action and introduced for those people inside Canada. But I presume that something of that sort, of that nature, wouldn't be back, but something similar, we do not know. There's more information and data to be expected to be coming in the coming few days, but something around that line which addresses international students, temporary foreign workers who are currently present, a program for them. So that is something we could be looking at. Now, Bill 16, Bill C-19. This is a new topic that has been taken by the House of Commons. It has been under discussion and has been covered by various Canadian news dailies. And so, what it is. So, before a law is passed, there has to be a consent and approval of various stakeholders within the government. So a bill is more of a proposal, which, after acceptance, discussion, and viewpoints of various stakeholders, and after receiving an acceptance, which we also call as a royal assent, is finally converted to a law. So if Bill C-19 is converted to a law, what would happen? In layman terms, it will give more power and more authority to the Minister of Immigration to make changes, changes based on the economic requirements and needs in Canada. So as I was mentioning at the beginning of the video, that what are the express entry draws are going to be resuming, and some of the new changes which you could expect coming would be occupation specific draws based on economic goal under which are under like still discussion. So what does this happen that, say for example, under the current system, the new draws could be specific for occupation. Say for example, only for tech workers, only for healthcare workers, or only for nurses with education and employment offer. So it could be very occupation specific, depending on what is the requirement, what are the economic goals, which areas of industries and markets are experiencing labor shortages based on those. So this right now it is generic. I mean, anyone and everybody could go in and put their profile depending on their eligibility. If they meet all the eligibility criterias of the federal skilled worker or the Canadian experience class, and the draws take place, and depending on the score, and if they meet the threshold, they are invited, they are given an ITA, or if not, they are not. This proposed bill, if it's converted to law, then in that case the minister will have more power to make these generic draws more occupation specific. So in that case we will see the right kind of talents and the right kind of skill sets which are actually required in various industries in different provinces more to be addressed. So that is something which we are looking at. So, mm, okay, so I will kind of stop there, and I am already seeing a few questions coming in, and let's see. So this is Kondokir Rafiqas Salam. Hello, how are you doing? What are you asking? Which program is suitable for me, and what are the possibilities? Okay, so these are very like basic limited question. I will advise you to go ahead and book a consultation with us. Uh, our website is www.dnimmigration.com. If you book a consultation, come online and go into the detail with me. I will be able to, take you through the process and discuss the possibilities of you in a much more clearer matter. So you say you have 6 years of job experience, you're 34 years old, you are an administrative assistant. So those are I mean, I in terms of age I believe you are still well covered. You should be able to take the advantage of maximum benefits in terms of points allotted to age. But other than that, as I mentioned, a lot of changes are going there. There are a lot of criterias that would be attributed to different points, so we have to go through in details. Book a consultation and let's talk in detail. Who's next? So we have next is Khalil Rahman. Hello, Khalil. How are you doing? He writes, I'm from Bangladesh, age 34. Education, master job experience. Do you mean you have a master's? Does that what do you mean? A master's in education? Job experience, 5 year plus. GT, not sure what GT refers to. Does that mean IELTS general training? I'm just guessing. GT 6.5, which program is possible for me? So yeah, as you know, if you are like even addressing the last viewer who made the question, if you are someone presently like outside of Canada and you do not have previous experience or education or any kind of connection with the country, naturally you will be falling under the federal skilled worker class if express entry is the pathway you are looking at going. But having said that, a lot of it, there are a lot of other programs where you could qualify, and depending on your situation and what pathway you're going through, those are the things that could impact your decision making on the process. So I always advise that don't stay very how should I say, mono focused on one program or one particular pathway. There are different ways where you could enhance your points, or for that matter enhance your possibilities. And And because Express Entry is a very popular and common program, as you can see, the program had to be stalled because of various reasons, and because of the different worldly factors which was out of our control had impacted the processing. Say, for example, the pandemic, like which is we are not completely out of it yet. We are still ongoing, but we have kind of learned to live with it, learned to maneuver our ways through it. But it, of course, has impacted the processing and the ways and decision making and future goals, programs, policies that are announced. Everything has been impacted. So, not necessarily they are going on the same goal. Uh, like when people question that why they are it's not moving ahead, why there are so much backlog, we have to understand that yes, from Canada, like lot of officers and most of the workers have been working from home and tuning in and clearing out their the files and everything's, but not all vacs around the world are operating in the same capacity, because a lot of things are behind that, because of safety and security reasons, because these kind of applications are very how should I say uh, classified documents, like important information and details and everything's are into it. So not necessarily all the other vacs in other countries processing centers have been able to process the application by working from home, unlike what we have seen in Canada. Even in Canada, it did take some time for them to get into that working mode and everything. So but we have seen in previous months the announcements that a lot of how should I say like focus and efforts are ongoing into upgrading the system, fast tracking the system, making it more sophisticated. We have seen the use and the implementation of various softwares, artificial intelligence, which would make the overall data dealing much more swifter, time effective, productive. So these are the various things I believe would make it make the process more easier to go. So I think like we are almost around the mark where we had decided to carry out this live. This was my first live session. I would be trying to make time to come live more. Before I leave, I would definitely welcome questions from you. If you have any questions related to the new program or the new announcements that has been made, if you have any kind of doubts, please leave a comment and I will try to address them one by one. And do not forget to like, share, and subscribe this video. It means a lot to me. It keeps us motivated to create content and share relevant, meaningful updates coming directly from the source, the government. It keeps going. And on that note, I will take excuse today. Have a good day and talk soon. Bye bye.